But this is the Sony FX30. As you can see right there, this is their cinema camera. This is being touted as the smaller brother to the Sony FX3. And we actually didn't know this existed for a minute. We saw a guy on the train a couple weeks before we bought this, and we're like, what kind of idiot would buy a Sony FX3 to be vlogging around the city? And now we are the idiot with the FX30 to vlog around the city. With that being said, this was our dream camera, and now that we have it, the honeymoon phase is kind of wearing off. There's 3 things that we love about this camera and 3 things that we absolutely don't love about this camera. So this video is going to be us telling you so you can make a better buying decision, potentially anyway. This camera is an APS-C crop sensor camera, and for some people that's a big turnoff. For us, we're not really pressed about it because we used to have a Fuji X-H1, and that camera was amazing with video, amazing with photo. So we understand that if you are a halfway decent photographer, videographer, you know what lighting is. You can take advantage of this camera and use it properly. We feel like we're equipped to be one of those people. So 3 things we love about this camera. Number 1 is the cageless design. Now, what that means is that this camera is built kind of like a crash cam. It's tanky. It's all metal. It's all like, there's a limited amount of plastic on here. Even though we thought it was heavy, it's pretty lightweight. The construction is great. It's durable. It's got multiple mounting points. It's got that smart hot shoe. It has a nice chunky grip. This camera, honestly, is a great camera if you want something durable that you can take with you, maybe traveling, but still very pocket size. You can literally easily slip this into, and probably not pants pocket, just for the record. I'm talking about like jacket pockets, some kind of pocket, but a camera bag. It's very lightweight. You can tell we have a pancake lens on there as well, and that pancake lens makes it even better because that pancake lens is super duper low profile. This one's a 16, also comes in a 22, but we're getting sidetracked. So first thing we love about it is the camera body. The camera body is durable. It's lightweight. It's great for mounting things on it. There's no ergonomic flaw to this. The hand part is super nice and chunky. Everything makes really good sense. Some people said this record button's hard to hit, but realistically, it's like literally where your thumb falls right there. There's also one in the front, and you can also enable the shutter button as well. So no issues with doing that. Next thing we love about this camera is what a bunch of people say they love about this camera. It's the tally lights. Oh, it's not on. Let's turn it on. So once I push that record button, you'll see in a second. See that turn red? There's a tally light on the back and there's a tally light on the front. So that tally light really gives you a lot of confidence when it comes to recording yourself. See if that'll focus. A small little thing like that. And I know a couple of different cameras might have better tally lights or different tally light implementations. This one, the tally light, like even on the screen right here, there'll be a red outline that appears to let you know that you're recording. So the tally light, another great thing about this camera, super simple, super easy. And lastly, the other thing we love about the Sony FX30 is the Sony E-mount selections. Like the amount of Sony E-mount glass that you can get, like this silver pancake lens that I have on here is from like when Sony first started dropping mirrorless cameras. And it's super duper small, super lightweight, super versatile. It has all the best vlogging / cinema type options. Honestly, Sony really killed it when it came to lenses. The versatility that their lenses provide in terms of fast apertures and wide shutter angles is great. So for example, this is probably an extra thing that I like about it. The stabilization is really good. But the stabilization is only really good when you have a good lens on there, which is wide enough, because there's a crop factor. This one doesn't have a crazy crop factor, not like the ZV-E10 or anything like that, but the stabilization works great. And this one's actually a 16 mil and it looks amazing on here in terms of like a vlogging capacity. F2.8 is relatively fast. So yeah, Sony E-mount, that's my third favorite thing about this camera. Now onto the negatives about this camera is the power switch. So right here is where you have the power switch, and that power switch is incredibly annoying to like dig your fingernail to turn it on. It's a pain. It's a pain to flip the switch. Where the other cameras have the ability to turn the camera on with one finger, right here they replace this with like a zoom toggle thing, which I think I'm never going to use because I don't use zoom lenses. I like prime lenses better. Maybe in the future, if I needed it, it'd be great. But realistically, that power button sucks. Every day that I have to turn and flip that power button, it is a pain in the ass and it's a hassle. It reminds me how much I don't enjoy this camera. But once it's on, it's pretty good because it doesn't get knocked off. So I guess that's the way they designed it, but I still just don't like it. I like a more traditional switch or something more tactile. That little switch is just so mushy. Second thing that I don't like about the FX30 is the battery life. The battery life on this camera is absolutely atrocious, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's running a fan, and maybe it's because it has more processing power, but we don't use a lot of those super duper advanced features, but still the battery drains so fast. Like, it can be in standby mode, like we could just have had it on because we're recording temporarily, and then we put it on standby mode and it just will not hold a charge. It literally will drop from 90 to 70% to 60% so fast. So battery life on the FX30 is not great, and we don't understand why. Because not like other cameras where they have IBIS, which is like actually moving the sensor. We would assume that that would cause it to drain battery, but this just drains battery like crazy. Thank God it's USB-C powered. And that USB-C power gives us the ability to easily charge it up in case of us draining it extremely fast. So battery life, not great on this compared to the Sony A7C, which is a way older camera, which is actually what we're recording on right now. That one has extremely amazing battery life, and I don't know how it's so good because it does have IBIS. For the record, IBIS is turned off on that camera, and even then, still, as a talking head video, this should perform better, but I don't think this would get me through a full day of usage. I don't know if there's a third thing we don't like about this camera. Everything else is great. The ports are great. The body's weather sealed, which is great. We don't like that it ships with that top handle, and we also don't know how useful that fan is. Like this fan, you can see the ports on this fan right here. It kind of takes up a little bit of space that I'd be curious to see what this would look like without the fan. Like if they made a fanless FX30, I think that would be a great camera. Still make it weather sealed, still make it nice and tanky. Get rid of that fan, and I'm pretty sure you'd have an even more compact, lighter design. I don't really care about overheating because I'm not doing 4K at any slow-mo capacity, but I'm pretty sure some people will. I personally don't think that's going to happen. They're never going to release a version with this without the fan, but I know people like mod things, and in the future, I'd love to see a modded version of this with a 3D printed backplate that just slimmed everything down, because I know it's possible. But yeah, that fan just adds extra heft for a reason that I might never really utilize a camera. So anyway, those are 3 pros and 3 cons of the Sony FX30. Do we like it? Overall, yes, it's an amazing camera. Do we recommend it? For the price, there might be better options out there for you. In terms of a crop sensor camera, the ZV-E10 probably does a lot of what you out there probably need. Same thing as me just self-filming. So if you have the budget for it, and if you want something that looks cool, yeah, but understand you're paying for a heftier, bigger, chunkier piece of equipment that doesn't necessarily translate to better image quality.